Well, welcome everybody. So I'm Phoenix Rising Star, as I think everybody on this call knows, and I think we're having enough of the same people over and over again that the Hathors is saying it's time to widen our spread again. So we will be doing that in September. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to happen, but they have some ideas of how to do that. They are really excited to see all of the people that have been signing up, both to listen live and to listen to the recording. But they're also saying that, over and over again, we need more people. We need to help more people. So somehow in September we're going to be broadening this. So keep that in mind. If you have some people you think might be interested, you might want to share this with. It's not like it's a closed group necessarily. The reason I have you register is so I know who to send the links to, but we can also just, you know, we'll see. I guess I won't throw anything out yet. We'll see what the Hathors have in mind, and we'll go from there to expand our group. Anyway, I am so excited by tonight because certainly the last one was first two that we've done as a larger group. They have been monumental. I am hearing from people through emails and chats and all kinds of things. People are telling me they've quit their job, they've created new ones, they've started different relationships, letting go of the old. It's all about beginning the new. Some people are changing their diet, some people are changing their exercise. Some people are moving. It's just like so amazing the amount of change that's coming through. And at the same time, I'm aware that there are some, and maybe a lot more than what have talked to me, that are almost overwhelmed by the thought of how much change might come in for them, and are a little holding back a little bit because that change might feel overwhelming or intimidating, or change is tricky. You make one change in your life and it seems to just change everything. It's like moving furniture. You can't just move one piece without moving like four or five. So it's like that, and that can be very overwhelming. So that's one of the things the Hathors are going to be helping us with tonight, is to help us overcome the fear of change. But before we get to what are they doing, let's talk about in a bigger picture first before we talk about the tiny details. Of what is actually happening during these activation meditations with the Hathors. So if you are new, and there may be a few of you that have not been on this call before, so let me just kind of review a little bit about the Hathors. These are actually 5th through 12th dimensional beings, and so as such they don't need a physical body in order to be able to share their gifts with the universe. They have the ability to transmit their information in what we would call heart language, which many times does not have the words that our linear brain would like to hear. It's more of a feeling, it's a sensation, it's a knowing, that can get translated eventually into what the brain can understand. But it's more of that interior knowing that comes. That's how they tend to do most of their transmissions, if you will. So, this is a really key piece here to understand that you are receiving heart language. And heart language has its own way of communicating and understanding. And it's almost like if you were to take another language from another country, it's kind of like that. It can seem really foreign at first when you're doing it, but there's also this intuitive aspect to it that you just go, oh, I get it. This is what I'm sensing. This is what I'm feeling. This is what I'm knowing. And it's that intuitive part that can be really hard if you're not used to being in that level or receiving on that level. So it can be challenging at first, but the best thing I can share with you is to just let your brain move off to the side, and let your heart just be your guide for tonight. And if at any time your heart says, this doesn't feel right to me, then honor that. You're in total control here. So you just hit the stop button, close your computer down, and you're done. And there's nothing wrong with that. So honor what your heart says, but know that you are receiving heart language from these Hathors, these fifth to 12th dimensional beings. So, as such, these are really high consciousness beings, and um, they are helping us to raise our consciousness, to raise our vibration, and to help us align with everything that we are here to be accomplishing. And they do this with their own youth, and they do this in teams, if you will. So, like the older ones will facilitate learning and teaching with the younger ones, and they help them by singing to them and sharing their vibrations with them to help them reach their highest destiny. And that's virtually what they have offered to do for us, is to help us reach our highest destiny as well. All it is an offering. They're not telling us what to do. They're just saying, here's the vibration that will help you get there. And it's that vibration that we're taking into our heart that inspires us to action that will help us to get there. So the aftermath of these activations is really important. The integration is really important. It's helpful if you give yourself time immediately after listening to this to kind of stay in that deeper space, because there's a tendency to dismiss things and just say, well, pff, nothing happened. Well, give yourself as much as 48 hours to see if nothing is really happening. And it may not be that nothing's happening. It may not just be that you're looking for it with your brain as opposed to your heart. So be open with that and give yourself that integration time to really take it in and make sense of it, if you will. Um, so that's really important. Also, let's see here. Oh, how do you know when your consciousness is starting to raise? I mean, how can you? What are some clues that you can use? Well, if you read my email, I was talking about things like all of a sudden you have these synchronicities that just seem to appear faster and more profoundly, and when they're least expected, but they're always so right on. And a synchronicity could be something that, I mean, some people might call it a miracle, and some people might say, well, that, technically couldn't have happened, but it did happen. Kind of like when I had posted on Facebook not too long ago, I was staying in a place in Maine, and outside of our house was a nest of Merlin falcons, and it's like, that's a really incredible synchronicity for me and my soul purpose, because Merlin falcons are all about helping to assist souls, on the other side. And that's part of the work that I do. So that would be what I would call a synchronicity that was like, oh, that's too much to be just a coincidence type of thing. So as your consciousness raises, more of those types of things tend to happen. Another thing that can happen is people that you used to hang out with, and maybe even called them friends or thought that you were really close with them, all of a sudden they may seem to be falling away, or maybe you decide that you have no desire to hang around them because it just doesn't seem like a fit anymore. And there's nothing wrong with this, and it's not about you. Just want to reassure you, it's really not about you. I know it is, but it isn't. Don't take it personally. What it is it's just an alignment. And when you're in alignment with people, then that means that everything gels and flows and it's easy and it's effortless and you don't have to explain yourself. But if there's not that alignment, then it becomes kind of a struggle, and it's kind of like trying to make a shoe fit. It just doesn't. I mean, if it's not the right size, it's just not going to fit. You could cut it open, you could cut off the toes, but now you've retrofitted it and it's still not right. So it's just about, the alignment and the exact alignment. And so if you're finding that your friends are changing, your relationships are changing, that's all it is. You are also looking for a better alignment. So if friends are leaving you, or coworkers are no longer so appealing to you, all you're doing is opening the door to ones that are more in alignment for you. So I just wanted to reassure you of that, because that could be another thing that can kind of trigger people into thinking, oh, I don't like this. This isn't what I wanted. Well, it's because it's change, and change can be very challenging. It can be almost a fearful thing, but again, the Hathors are going to help us with that tonight to know that it's really change. It doesn't have to be fearful, and through all the clearings that you've done and the activations you've done, especially if you've listened to the other two activations, and it's okay if you haven't, you will still get exactly what you need tonight. But through all of the work that you've already done, you have cleared enough that you are not going to be creating the same kind of change that wasn't working for you before. And isn't that a blessing? Isn't that a really good thing? So let's see what else. I'm just looking at some notes that I made so that I don't leave anything out. Oh, another thing that happens that really shows us when we are being at a higher consciousness level is that we realize that there's a deeper connection to all that is. And it's kind of, for me, it's like going into a forest and being able to talk to trees. Now, that may not be your thing, and I respect that. But for me, that I get this really deep, profound connection to all life everywhere through trees. Now, some people may get it through animals, or especially if you're into rescue animals. Some of you may get it through working with crystals. Some of you may get it from just maybe even going to church or a synagogue or a mosque. There's so many ways in which we can get that feeling and that knowing, but that seems to increase more and maybe in different ways as our consciousness raises. So these are just kind of some signposts. These are not the only signposts of high consciousness, but or higher consciousness, but there are some, and they help you to know that you are on your path. And I think that's one of the most reassuring things, because that's one of the biggest questions I get when I'm doing my healing work, like in a festival or a fair like that, where I'm seeing person after person after person. And that is overall the biggest question. Am I on my path? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? That seems to be a real concern for so many of us. So this will help you to know that, yes, you're on the right path, because as long as your consciousness is raising, you will choose what's in alignment for you to do what you're here to do. Nothing else will feel right. You won't want to do anything else. It won't even feel fun. So that those these are all intertwined, if you will. Okay, a couple of questions have come up from people, so I wanted to share them with you to help you have a better choice of your experience. One of the questions is, should I do this live or should I listen to the recording, and is there a difference? And some of you might feel that it's more intense in a live version than it is on the recording. Um, I don't know that that's true for everybody. It might be true for you. You'll have to try it out and see. You, meaning whoever might have that question in your mind. But I know that when I am doing the um, like adjusting, I'm editing the recording afterwards, and all I'm doing is taking out the pops and the clicks and the cracks and the noises that come in that I don't notice as I'm talking, but as I'm listening to the recording, I'm hearing them. So I take those things out, and sometimes I add in music, and I'll be adding in music this time. I think the music can take you to a deeper level. I think that I know that when I'm listening to the recording, just to edit it, I'm going into a deeper level. Um, but I don't know that it's necessarily different, or one might be better than another. You might just have to check that out and see for yourself which one you prefer. Another question that's come up is, can I listen to this over and over again? Please, please do. And I love it when I hear from people about, oh my gosh, I'm on my third time. This is so amazing. Because, you're not just hearing the same recording. You are a different person as soon as you've gone through this experience once. And then as a result of that, the next time you listen to it, you're listening it with new ears, you're having a different experience, you're coming at it from a different place. And so it will be as though it was the first time for you. And that seems to happen over and over and over again, no matter how many times you listen to it. And another thing that people have asked me about is it okay to listen to this in a group? Absolutely. Please listen to it in a group. Like if you have your own group of friends who really love this kind of thing, of course, you could just have one of you sign up or you could have all of you sign up. It doesn't matter to me. I am offering this for free because that's in alignment with my soul purpose and that's my agreement with the Hathors. And I know that if you have the capability of pulling together a group of people to listen to this together, to listen to the recording together, you will all have a better community experience because you have the sharing afterwards. You have help in integrating it. You have someone that you can talk to who understands you and won't question you. That would really be the coolest. I kind of have a sneaking suspicion that's what the Hathors are going to ask us to do starting in September is to share this with groups of like-minded individuals. But we'll see how they decide to do that. So let's see, are there any other questions? I think those are the main ones. Oh, and one thing that I wanted to share too, and I believe it was Scott Robertson who has started to infuse the energy of the recordings into crystals or stones from, just stones he's picked up in nature. They're called to him, and then put them back into nature after they've been infused with this. That's a beautiful way for really impacting as many people as possible. And it's all free will. People can say, no, I don't choose to change. I don't choose to raise my consciousness. But, if that vibration is there in their environment and they choose to say yes to it, then now you're impacting even more people than we thought possible to Oh, good. I see Megas is tapped into that totally. She's got crystals and asked to be here for tonight. So something like that is totally perfect because it just broadens, what's going on here. This is, what we're doing is helping everybody. It's just that not everybody knows about it. Not everybody's ready to understand it and receive it and act on it. And that's okay, but sometimes it's just because they don't know about it. So if we can help others know as much as possible and to receive as much as possible so they can reach their highest destiny, wow, what a blessing that is for everybody. Okay. If you have a question, there's a little place where you can raise your hand. It's at the bottom of the screen and I think it's by managed participants. You can either raise your hand and I'd be happy to answer them at this time, or you can put something in the chat if you have something that you want to share, or if you have a question you want to ask. Before I give you more specific information about what we're doing tonight. But I just wanted to make sure that I'm not leaving anybody behind before we step into that. So, anybody? Anyone have anything at all? Wow, it's such a nice group. Okay. Oh, thank you. On the Mac, click participants to see the raising of the hand. Thank you. Awesome. All right. I'm not seeing anybody, but doesn't mean you won't have other questions. Now, listen, if I really want to repeat this too, that if after you have listened to this live and or the recording, feel free to, share your experiences with me. I've got a lot of people that are doing that, and I can kind of help you integrate things a little bit, especially if it's kind of like blindsiding you and you didn't expect something to come out of the blue like this or whatever it is. So feel free to reach out to me and let me put in my email address. I'm sure most of you know it, and I will be putting it into the email that I sent you with a link, but it is support@phoenixrstar.com. So feel free to reach out to me. Okay, so here's what they're, I forgot to mention one other thing. Okay, here's the other thing that happens that helps you to know that your consciousness is being raised. So, what I have also heard from people, and I've experienced myself, is the increase in working with our teams. And a team can be live people, where we're just saying, hey, can we work together in some way? Because there's an opportunity here and more is better, or maybe you have some skills I don't have, and can we, find a way to do that? So that's the seen team. That's what we call like in the physical form. But we also have our unseen teams. And our unseen teams are like our angels or our guides, or, those that are not in physical form, that are here to help us for our highest good and healing. And so one of the ways that when your consciousness raises, you find more ways to work with others and other like-minded people, spirits, helpers will just show up magically for you. And it makes your life so much easier because it takes away the need to feel like you have to be in control all the time, which is so great. So for some people that might be like hiring a virtual assistant. If you've never had one, it's like someone who does the work from their computer, and they could be in Africa, or they could be in the Philippines, they could be anywhere, but they can share with you what they're doing for you. For others, it might be just working one-on-one and saying, hey, how about if we listen to this cool meditation together, and then we share our what happens. For others of you, it might be, hey, I've got something really cool I want you to try out, and would you mind giving me some feedback about it? And there's so many other ways in which we can work with our seen teams. And then ways that we can work with our unseen teams are things like just saying, hey, I don't know how to do this, and I've only got 15 minutes to pull this one off. Can you do this for me, angels? And I am really guilty about doing that one a lot, but I'll tell you, it's working so well that at this point, I'm like, why would I just rely on myself when it would take me 5 hours longer, or 5 days longer, or 5 weeks longer than what they can pull off in 15 minutes. And just case in point, so I had 2.5 weeks to write up a new like the content for the new website that this is going to be the first website I'm not actively putting together. I'm handing it off to somebody. So there's my seen team, but my unseen team was, angels, I really need some help because I don't have a lot of time. And I also have two other major projects that are due during this 2.5 week time. So would you please help me? And within one day, I had all the content written. And that was pretty amazing for me to be able to pull that off. So that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. As you start to raise your consciousness, you work more with your seen and your unseen teams. And that's what the Hathors are going to be helping us with tonight as well. So let's get to what are we going to be doing. So if you have listened to the previous activations, and it's okay if you haven't, but you'll notice that there's a time when I say, okay, so here's how we're going to be bringing them in, and we start doing that. And everything I do starts from a place of love, because that's the only thing that I believe works. So that's where we start. We start from a place of love. At that point, at some point, the Hathors will say, okay, we're going to just take over now. We're going to help everybody to have their rich experience, whatever that is. And during this time, not only are they helping you to raise your consciousness and your vibration, but they're also helping you. Okay, because I had to write this down because I went, what? How am I going to remember all this? Okay, so they're helping you to overcome your fear of change. Now, not all of you may be affected by that. So if you're not, obviously they're going to skip that for you. But if you have any resistance or concerns or worries or tensions, or you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to manifest something that's even worse than what I've got now, that kind of thing, don't worry about it. They're going to help you get over that, to release that, so that you can step into your highest destiny and see even greater new possibilities for yourself. So those two things kind of go hand in hand, overcoming the fear of change and stepping into even greater possibilities. Another thing that they're going to be doing is to help us align our soul purpose with our heart and our soul and our global destiny. Global destiny is something that we don't talk about much, but as humans, we can kind of downplay things, and we kind of forget that, we are so much greater than what we think we are. And so when we create something, we create small, and maybe it's with one tiny thing, but we can create in ways that reaches the masses. We can create things that will help more people than you ever dreamed possible, because all it takes is one domino, and one domino pushes down all the other dominoes. So if you're only working with one domino, you're still affecting change with all the other dominoes and where they're going. So our global destiny is really thinking in a big, big way. And it's impacting more than just our community, more than just our town, more than just our state, more than just our region, more than just our country. We are going all over the world and beyond, whatever that means to you, because we can. But if we don't open the doors to that possibility, we don't know that we even can. So, what this is doing by opening up to our global destiny and aligning our heart and soul purpose to that is it's bringing in the possibilities that you didn't even know existed. And they'll come in through those divine synchronicities that you're already starting to see and experience. And these possibilities will just blow the doors open on what you are doing so that you can impact as many people as possible. Because you wouldn't be on this call if that wasn't part of your purpose, to impact as many people as possible. You know, these are the people that are attracted to the Hathors. The people that know you have a difference to make. You just maybe haven't figured out how to do it, or maybe you didn't know how to take it far enough. Well, this is going to help you with that. And how it's going to help you is through your seen and your unseen teams who are here to help you. And again, through those divine synchronicities, to bring them in to help you align everything with your heart and your soul purpose, your global destiny, to make a bigger impact. And that's really what it's all about. And it doesn't matter what your impact is. You could be an accountant, you could be an attorney, you could be a teacher, you could be a healer, you could be a parent, you could be anything. You could be several things. It doesn't matter, just that your heart sings when you do that. And when your heart sings, then you're doing it from a state of love. And anything that we share from a state of love is magnificent. That's all there is to it. And why would we do anything else? Because it feels so good to do it from a state of love. And we see the better results than ever before with a state of love. So that's why we begin everything with a state of love. So we are about to connect with the Hathors from a state of love. Okay, last chance for any questions or anything that you might want to say. I'm not quite sure what we're doing, where we're going with this. But as I'm looking through the familiar list of names and some that are new, congratulations for being here if you felt that this is new for you and you felt called to this. I'm very excited to have you on the call. Okay, any questions? Last chance. Okay. So here's what I do when I'm leading you in a meditation. I turn off my video because I tend to talk a lot with my hands. You probably noticed that. And that's distracting because I find that everybody wants to watch my hands, but why watch my hands? It's really not going to help you. So I'm going to turn off my video. So this is what you're going to see, but you can still hear my voice and you're still being recorded. If you would like to turn off your video, that would also lessen any distraction from anybody who has a tendency to open their eyes while they're meditating. But it's totally up to you. Awesome, awesome. Okay, so let's just kind of center ourselves into our bodies. Nice. And just allow your breathing to become slow and rhythmic at a rate that works for you. And when you deliberately slow it, you know that you're opening yourself to transformation and change at high levels. And don't worry, it won't be more change than what you can handle. It's really going to be amazing and wonderful. And that's the other thing about raising your consciousness, is that life becomes a whole lot more fun. It's not hard anymore. It's fun. So we are open to fun. And with that, I don't know if you could hear that, but there was a loon that just called when I said that. So that is fabulous. Nice synchronicity from the world. Yes. Fabulous. Okay, good. Centering your awareness in your heart. And really, it's behind your heart, behind your literal heart. It's in your energetic heart space behind your literal heart, the place that knows all things, the place of all wisdom, all love. And it's the place where you store all of your goals and aspirations, not just for this life, but for all lives. And it will be the place, of course, for your global destiny and for your, your goals for that as well. Even if you were unaware you had a global destiny before, this will open you up to even greater things. Yay, greater possibilities. Awesome. And we are grateful for the loon that continues to call. I don't know if you can hear it or not. I'll be quiet and we'll see if it will call one more time. Lovely. Okay. I invite you to just begin generating feelings of love to the best of your ability. And these feelings of love, if it's unfamiliar to you, just think about maybe a person or a four-legged or an animal or maybe a place in nature in which you felt that connection to all that is, or a deep and profound connection to another being, or a tree, or a bird. And when you remember that, it kind of creates an opening within your heart. And that opening is kind of like when love just comes rushing in because you've opened your heart just a little bit to it. And when it comes rushing in, it starts filling up everything. So it fills up your heart space and then it goes to your entire body and begins filling that from the bottoms of your feet all the way up to the top of your head. And as your body fills with love, there may be kind of a warmth or a tingling in different places, or you may have some kind of surprise effects, or maybe you have some other kind of interesting experience with love. But just hide no place from this love, because it really is what heals all things. And as this love fills your physical body all the way up to the top, what happens is it spills over into your energetic body, which is like your emotional body, your mental body, your spiritual body, your light body, and it just begins filling up those spaces from the bottom all the way up to the top. Each one just spills over into the next place and the next and the next. And with each filling of this love, it's almost like you're wrapped in cotton wool or soft, warm flannel, or if you're normally running hot, you'd rather be cooled, and it will give you that coolness. It will be the perfect temperature for you. But it's comforting. It's sweet. It's kind. And it knows all things without judgment. So just pause there and really feel that for a moment, really appreciating that. And some of you may already be sensing that there are some beautiful beings kind of waiting off to the side, and they're just waiting until you feel ready to receive them. You may be perceiving them in different ways. Some of you are very visual, and you may be actually seeing tall beings that maybe are describable and maybe not describable. They may have color, they may not. Others of you may be very auditory, and you may be hearing things like, "We're ready for you," or "Just let us know, we're ready when you are," type of thing. Still, others are very knowing. You have this knowing sense. You're already locked into that heart language, and you just know, without knowing how you know, that they are there for you. And there may be 100 other ways in which they make themselves known. So just open up all of your senses and feel that love that emanates from them towards you. This is another explanation of high consciousness. Is the ability to give and receive love becomes much greater. To open your heart to receive that wave of love from them, and you perceive them. And when you're ready, you can send it back to them. Because love is meant to be shared. You take it in and you give it out, and you take it in and you give it out in this beautiful wave that continues and continues and continues. Feeling that vibration and feeling and sensing and knowing how they are working with you, and taking in all the information in the ways that are right for you. It may or may not be with words. It may just be with heart language. It's always perfect. And I'm going to be very quiet while you are receiving all of your activations. And just taking it in whatever way it comes to you. And even if you're not sure if you're connecting, you are. Remember, there's an integration time. It allows you to make sense of this. in ways that helps you and works with you. That will happen in the next 48 hours or less. Just be patient and allow. And just allowing yourself to go as deep as you need to go for now, knowing you can always listen to the recording again and go even deeper the next time. Taking this to your highest destiny, to your global destiny, and knowing that you have support from the seen and the unseen teams, ready, happy, and willing to assist you. They just have to be asked. And slowly, at some point, you're going to feel that the energy just starts to shift. It might dissipate a little bit, or maybe the intensity is waning. Maybe the messages are not so strong, or the feelings or sensations shift. And it's just a signal that they're almost complete with your activation for now. Remembering you can always listen to this over and over again and have a brand new experience. Good. One more minute. Wow. I thank all of you for being on live, and I thank all of you who will be listening to the recording. And I look forward to our next activation meditation in September. I'll be sending you lots more details about that, as well as the link to this recording. Thank you so much, everyone. Namaste.